Why, people might ask, is it so important to support early learning and brain development? The reason is that experiences during the first years of life build critical neural architecture, brain structures, for all future thinking and learning. The human brain is changing at warp speed and never grows more rapidly than it does during these first years. The Center for the Developing Child at Harvard says that babies' brains make 1 million new connections per second. And more than that, there is a use it or lose it process. Look at these cross sections of infant brain tissue. Notice how much denser the 9-month image is compared to the newborn and 1-month images. Now look at the 2-year-old image and compare it to that of an adult. The image for the 2-year-old is denser than that for the adult, and the reason is a process called pruning. The linkages that children use to think get a lot stronger and thicker over time, and the ones that they don't use tend to wither away. The simple circuits that develop first become the foundation for more complex connections down the line.
Awesome job!
Not only is the brain growing denser during the early years, it's also growing larger. When a child is born, their brain is about 1/3 of its adult size. It roughly doubles to become 70% of adult size by the age of 1, 80% by the age of 3, and 90% by the age of 5, when most children start kindergarten. And the skill gaps we worry about during the school years, they've already started developing by the time the children are 2 years old. This chart shows patterns at the age of 9 to 12 months for children whose parents have different levels of education. The 100% line at the top represents the skill level for children whose parents have a graduate education. Most of the bars touch the 100% line, meaning that children whose parents have fewer years of education perform about the same as those whose parents have a graduate education. The biggest difference we see is that children whose parents have less than high school score lowest on Jabbers expressively. But by the age of 2, clear differences appear. Scores on listening comprehension and matching and discrimination among children whose parents did not finish high school are only about half of those for children whose parents have graduate degrees. The Basics aims to help reduce such differences, and it really does matter. The differences this early lead to disparities in kindergarten readiness, and in turn, kindergarten readiness is a predictor of later outcomes. For example, a study at the Brookings Institution found that among children who entered kindergarten well prepared, in other words, kindergarten ready, 82% were on track with reading and math skills by the time they were in 5th grade. But among children who were not kindergarten ready, only 45% were on track by 5th grade. So you get the idea. A child's early experiences during their first few years can affect their entire journey through life. That's why the Basics and other efforts to make the most of these years are so important.